Hey guys, Demetrius here and welcome back to my channel. Now in today's video, I'm going to build a simple Instagram clone app, or in other words, a photo sharing application. And most importantly, this is going to be a no-code tutorial, so don't worry if you don't have any coding knowledge. The tool that I'm going to use in order to create this app is Glide. You can go to glideapps.com to sign up for a free account. It's a fantastic tool for building apps with no code. And if you're a beginner with Glide or never used it before, I'm actually going to put a link below this video to a video series that I made which will help you get started with Glide. So with that being said, let's get started. Now, as you can see, I have already created a Glide app right here, and I have linked it to this Google Sheet. This is where we're going to be storing all the data for this app. And the first thing I'm going to do is actually create the newsfeed page, right? So on Instagram, you have the main page, which is that long feed where you just scroll through your through the posts of the people you're following, right? So that's what I'm going to try and replicate right here. Now, the first thing I've done here is created a sheet, right? And I named it posts. So this is where I'm going to be storing all the post information. All the posts are going to be displayed on this page. So what I need to do is actually create some fields for these posts. So I'm going to have, for each post, I'm going to have a title, a caption. I'm going to have the actual image, right? I'm going to have a publish date, the number of likes, and then finally, and this is the most important field, is the user email, right? So that's the field that's going to help me identify who made this post, which user made this post. And on Glide, the only unique thing we have for each user is their email, the email that they sign in with. Therefore, this is going to be the email that we're going to submit with every post in order to identify the owner of the post, right? So then what I'm going to do is actually add some example data here. So I have some example data that I created for this sheet, right? So caption, date posted, likes, I'm going to put 1, and then user email I'm gonna leave empty, right? So I'm just gonna create one example post there just so you can see. So now I'm gonna go ahead and reload the sheet, and that post should appear right here. So there you go, our post has appeared. So now I'm gonna customize the way that this data gets displayed, right? So here on the sidebar we have a bunch of different style options, and these are the style options for this particular list. Now I'm actually going to choose the cards style option because I really like the way that cards look. And what I'm going to do next is actually assign the data from the spreadsheet to the different components on the card, right? So for the image, I'm going to get the data from the image field on the spreadsheet. For the header, which is this text right here, I'm actually going to leave that empty for now. And then for the title, I'm getting the data from the titles field, and then the caption is the caption. Perfect. Now the next thing I'm going to do is change the image shape to be square, you know, very similar to Instagram. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You know, there's many different styling options. You know, you can make it look however you want. But yeah, this is it for the this is how I want the post to be displayed. So now every time a new post gets added to this sheet right here, and obviously we're going to configure a way so the user is actually able to make a post, and every time a post is made, it's a new row is going to be created on this sheet, and then automatically that data is going to appear on this page right here. So as you can see, if I go ahead and copy and paste this row, so now we have 2 posts. If I go ahead and reload the sheet, there we go. So at least for now, this page is pretty much done. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this post right here, and now we're gonna focus on I'm gonna create a new tab, right? Or in other words, a new page. So I'm gonna go here, create a new tab, and this is gonna be the profile tab, right? So this is where I'm gonna display all the user information. This is where the user is also going to be able to make a new post and also see all the posts they make. Basically, the exact same thing you get on Instagram on your profile page. Now, the source of this page needs to be a different sheet, right? Because I need to create a new sheet that will store all the user information, right? So I'm going to call it users. And on this sheet, I need to create a few fields. So we're going to have the name of the user. We're going to have their email. We're going to have their image, or another way. I'm actually going to make this, I'm going to call this profile image. We also need a bio, right? So you on Instagram, you also have a bio. We're going to have a date joined, a username, right? That's important. So I'm going to move this username to the beginning there. And then we can also have the date of birth, right? So DOB. Okay, that's it for now. I'm going to make these bold. And now what I'm going to do is go back, reload the sheet here to detect the new data. And now I should be able to, let's go back to the profile tab here. I should be able to select the users sheet to be the source, right? Okay, now what I need to do is create user profiles. Now the way that you create user profiles on Glide is by going to the first thing you need to do is go to settings, privacy, and enable the sign-in method to be public with email. So what this is going to do is basically create a sign-in screen every time the user visits the app that is going to ask them to enter their email and then log into the app, right? So if I go here and share this app and publish it, and I copy this link and open it up in a new tab, this is what the user is going to see, right? And as you can see, we get a sign-in screen. This is where we enter our email. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new email here, random user, create mailbox. I'm going to copy this email, paste it right there, continue, and this is going to send a pin to my email. It's going to take a few seconds. There you go. So now I'm going to go ahead and copy this pin to my app here, enter it, and sign in. And that's how we sign into the app. Now, this doesn't mean that the user has an account, right? This just means that the user is able to sign in with an email, right? So then what we're going to do next is actually configure the profile page right here to allow the user to create an account using the email they using the email they signed in with, right? So in order to be able to do that, first of all, you need to select public with email here. And then the next thing we're going to do is go to this sidebar and click on the sign in button, right? So as you can see on the right hand side, now we have this user profile option. So now we're able to select a sheet where all the user information is going to be stored. So we have already created a user sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And then I'm going to link all the fields right here to the correct data fields on the sheet. So for name, this is going to be the name column, email is going to be the email column, and image, this is the profile image. This is actually going to be profile image, right? Perfect. So we now have user profiles. So now the next thing I need to do is allow the user to create an account. Now on this profile tab, what I'm going to do is select the details style option, because this is the only option that allows you to add custom components to your page. All the other style options are used to display data, but this style option allows you to add any component you want on the page, as you can see right here. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all these ones right here because I don't want them. And the first component that I'm going to go ahead and add is going to be a form button component, right? Because I want to create a form that will allow the user to create an account. So I'm going to change the title on this component to be create account, right? And once I click on this button, this is going to open up a form, right? So this is where I can enter all the data that I want to submit in order to create an account. And the first thing I need to select is the destination. So where is this data going to go to? And it's obviously going to be the user sheet, because every single one of these rows on this sheet is going to be a different account on the app, right? So the data is going to go to the user sheet, and as you can see, we have all these fields right here which link to the fields on the sheet. However, what I'm going to do is go through each one of them and see if they're relevant. So username is a text entry field, so that's fine. This is where we're going to enter the username. Name, once again, is a text entry field, that's fine. For the email though, what I need to do is get rid of this and actually add a new component, which is going to be a special value, right? Because I want to detect the email that the user has signed into my app with, right? So remember, on the sign in screen, we sign in with an email, and this component right here is able to detect that email and pass it as a data field to the form, right? So I'm going to select this component right here, and as you can see, this is a special value. It's hidden, it doesn't get shown on the form, and the data of this component gets passed to the email column on the sheet, right? So the email that the user is currently signed in with will get passed to the email column on this sheet. Perfect. So then let's see, we have username, name, profile image. Now the profile image needs to be an image picker, you know, so I need to allow the user to upload an image. So this cannot be a text entry field. So I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm actually going to add an image picker component. Now the data from this component is going to go to the profile image column on the sheet. And as you can see, I'm going to be able to upload an image from the camera and the photo roll, right? So that's perfect. Now, let's see, what else do we have? A bio, that's fine. It's going to be a text entry component. Date joined, I'm also going to get rid of this one, because the date joined, I can actually select that to be a special value, and that's going to be the current date and time at the submission of this form. So as soon as this form is submitted, the app is going to detect the current date and time, and it's going to pass this value to the date joined column on the sheet, right? So right here. So that's another special value. And then finally, for the date of birth, I'm gonna get rid of this one as well, and I'm gonna add a date component instead, because this is going to require the user to enter text in this format, right? So I'm gonna make sure that the user actually enters a date. This data is going to go to the DOB column, and I'm also going to change the title to be date of birth, right? And yeah, that's perfect. I'm going to now move this above the image picker. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now we can go ahead and test this form. Currently, I'm going to use this preview as feature right here to sign in as an example user, right? So this is a really cool feature that allows us to test the app based on a particular user that is signed in. So george@gmail.com is a new user that I just came up with. So I'm going to go ahead and create an account for this user. I'm going to give them the username George Test. Name is going to be George L. Bio, this is my example bio. Date of birth is 04/05/192. I'm not gonna upload an image from here because I don't have an image on my computer. I'm just gonna paste the link later on. So I'm gonna go ahead and submit this form. And as you can see on the sheet now, we have a new user, right? The only thing that's missing is the profile image, but I'm actually gonna get an example one from my test data right here. So I'm gonna copy this one right here and just add it there. Perfect. So now what I need to do is actually display this data, this user data, on the profile page, right? Because I'm currently signed in as George. I have successfully created an account on the app. However, on this page, I still get a create account button, and I don't see any information that's relevant to this user, right? So there are a couple of things to do. First of all, need to get rid of this button, and then we also need to display the user's data. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is actually, let's get rid of this button first. So I'm going to click on the button. I'm going to go to features and I'm going to set up a visibility condition, right? So the idea is that I want this button to only be displayed when the user doesn't have an account. So I'm going to add a new condition and I'm going to say, as you can see right here, I get a new section called user because now I have user profiles. So I'm going to say if the email column on the user sheet is empty, then show the button. Now I'm currently signed in as George, therefore this statement is not true because George does have an account and does have an email. Therefore the button disappears. But if I sign in as a new user called Mike, as you can see, the button appears. So what this condition translates to is basically if user doesn't have an account, show the button. If they do have an account, then don't show the button, right? So this works. Now the next thing I need to do is display the user data. So I'm going to sign in as George again, so we have some data to display. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new component, which is going to be the title component. This is a component that I like to use because it allows you to have 3 different elements. So it has an image, it has a title, and a small text below it. So what I'm going to do is here on the data section, I'm going to assign the data to be for, I'm actually going to get the data from the user section right here. So I'm going to have the username to be that text. Then for the details, I'm going to get the bio, right? And then for the profile image, I'm going to get the profile image from here, right? And the reason I'm getting this data from this section instead of this section is because I want this data to change according to the user that is currently signed in, right? That's something really important. So now if I log in as a Mike, who doesn't have an account, as you can see, we get nothing, right? But if I sign in as George, we get this. Perfect. So we're now able to get rid of the create account button and also display the user's data. Now, another thing I'm going to do before jumping to the next section is actually also have a welcome message. So if the user doesn't have an account, so Mike, I also want to display a little welcome message above this button. So I'm going to add a text component, this one right here. And I'm going to set this to be custom text. So I don't want to get this data from anywhere on the sheet. I actually want to have my own text. Welcome to No Code Gram, right? And we can also have a little emoji. And then I'm going to change the style of this text to be heading 2, right? So it's nice and bold. And I'm going to put this above the button right there. And then I'm going to duplicate this text component, and I'm also going to have a little instruction text. So create an account today to start posting, right? And I'm going to make this regular, right? Like that. Perfect. So now the last thing I need to do with these text components is actually also create a visibility condition so they only appear when email is empty. And I'm going to do the same with this one. So only appear when user email is empty. Perfect. So now let's log in as George. Perfect. Mike, George. Okay. Now the next thing I need to do here is create a new post button, right? So I want to allow this user to create new posts on the app. So what I'm going to do is add a new form button, right? And I'm going to name this button new post. Now when I click on this button, the first thing we're going to do is select the destination that the data of this form is going to go to. And it's obviously going to be the post sheet because that's where I'm going to be storing all my post data, right? And let's see the components. So we have title, text entry caption, image picker for the image, publish data. I'm going to get rid of that. Likes, I'm going to get rid of that. And user email, I'm also going to get rid of that. So I only want the user to enter these three pieces of information. However, I also need to pass in some special values. So I need the user's email. So the user that the email that the user is currently signed in with, because remember on the post right here we have the user email, which is what's gonna allow us to identify the owner of this post. Therefore, I need to pass that in as a special value because I want that to be the email that the user is currently signed in with. So user, this data is going to go to the user email column. And another special value that I'm going to add is going to be the current date and time. And this is going to go to the publish date. So as soon as this form gets submitted, the current date is going to be retrieved and will get passed to the publish date field. Okay, what else do we have? So likes, obviously that doesn't need to be added now. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. I'm also gonna add a little title for the image, and this is going to be image, right? Or yeah, let's just leave it as image. It's fine. Okay. Now another thing you can do here, and this is something I could have done on the other form as well, the create account form. Is you can actually set a minimum length and maximum length for the text fields, right? So for example, if you don't want the title to be more than 50 characters, or yeah, I think that's characters. That's characters. So if you don't want the title to be more than 50 characters and no less than 3 characters, you can enter those values right there. Okay. Same for the caption, but I'm not gonna do that. Anyway, so now I'm currently signed in as George, so I'm gonna go ahead and submit a new post here. So this is my first post. This is an example caption. I'm not gonna upload an image. I'm just gonna once again just copy and paste in a link from my example data here. So I'm gonna go ahead and submit this post. So if we go to the post sheet right here, there we go, that's the new post, and as you can see it has successfully retrieved the user's email. Now for the image, what I'm gonna do is just go here, and I think I have some images, yeah, so let's copy this one, paste it right there. So now if I go back to my app and reload sheet, and then I go to the post page right here, as you can see the new post is now there. Now, one thing I'm going to do at this point is actually reorder this list so the latest post appears first. You know, that's something you get on Instagram. So what I'm going to do is actually go to the features of this page right here. And I'm going to go to the sort option, and I'm going to sort this based on publish date, right? And I want this to be descending order. Right, there you go. So the latest post appears first. Perfect. So now let's go back to the profile page, and then the next thing I want to do is actually display the user's posts below, right here, right? So these are the posts that the user has made. Now in order to do this, I'm gonna add an inline list component, right? So this one right here. So this allows us to create a small list that gets added to the page. And the style I'm gonna select for this list is going to be tiles, right? So on Instagram, get like little square images, right? So I'm gonna try and replicate that here. So I'm gonna select tiles. The source, so where we're gonna get the data for this list, is gonna be the posts sheet, right? Because that's where all the post data is stored. And I'm actually gonna get rid of these ones here. I don't want to have anything else other than the image. And then what I need to do is select here on the tiles per row. I'm going to change this to 2 tiles per row. And then the tile shape, I'm going to change to square. And as you can see, we now get nice square images. And you can actually make it 3 posts per row, you know, very similar to Instagram. But I think I'm just gonna make it 2 for now. I think that looks a little bit better. Okay. So I think that's pretty much it right here. But now what we need to do is actually filter this list to only display the post of this that this user made, because as you can see right now, we get both of these posts. But the only one that this user has made, George has made, is this one right here. So I only need to display this post instead of both. So what I'm going to do is actually go to features. So I'm currently I have currently selected the inline list component. So I'm going to go to the features of this component, and then on the filter, I'm going to add a new filter, and I'm going to filter based on the user email, right? So this is the email on the posts sheet right here, the user email. So I'm going to filter based on that email, and I'm going to say that that email needs to be the user email. There you go, right? So that's the account of this user right here, and we're comparing with we're matching both of those emails, right? So now we're able to successfully show this particular user's posts. I accidentally enabled this search bar. I don't need that. Okay, so now we're able to successfully display this user's posts. So now we're pretty much done with the profile page right here. However, we still have an issue. If I go here and sign out and sign in as a new user who doesn't have an account, so Mike, for example, right? As you can see, we're now getting the we're getting these two components, which is correct. However, we're also getting these two components, which is not correct. So what I need to do is go to the new post form button, go to features, and add the same visibility condition we had before. So this is email user email is empty, right? So sorry, user email is not empty, right? So if the user email is not empty, so in other words, if the user has an account, then show that button. However, if they don't, then don't show the button. Same with the inline list here. So features, visibility, if user email is not empty, then show the list. So there we have it. So now if I log in as George, perfect. Okay, so we're now ready to move on to the next thing we need to do. So that will be the post pages, right? So when you click on a particular post, you know, whether it's on the news feed or the profile right here, you get a new post page, right? So this is the page where we will display the full image. We will display like the user's information. You know, we're also going to display a like button, a comment section, and so on, right? So what I'm going to do is, as you can see here, we're able to completely customize this page with components. And I'm actually gonna get rid of all these ones here. I don't need them. And I'm gonna add a new component, which is gonna be an image component, right? So I'm gonna display the image of the post, right? Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then below this, I'm gonna add a like button, right? So I'm gonna select the like component. I'm gonna give it a title likes or likes. I mean, this is optional, you don't need to do that. And yeah, this data is gonna go to the likes column, so right here. And every time someone clicks this button, the like count is going to increase, right? So let's see. I think this is this one right here. Oh yeah, there we go. It has increased. Perfect. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is add a I want to add a link to the user's profile, right? So when the user clicks on this, I want them to see the user's profile. So this is gonna be a little complicated. What we're gonna do is, first of all, go to the data page right here. So this is a representation of all the data we have on the sheet. However, we get some really cool features, such as we're able to add relations, right? So I'm able to create a new column here. This column, by the way, is not going to be displayed on the sheet, right? This is this is just for this section, right? This page right here. I'm gonna create a new column, which I'm gonna name user, right? And I'm gonna select the column type to be relation, right? And I'm gonna create a relation which is basically gonna look for the user email on each one of these posts, right? And it's gonna find the same user. It's gonna find the user with the same exact email on the user sheet, right? So on the user sheet we have the field email, so it's gonna find that user based on their email, right? So as you can see, it has automatically detected George here because it took this email right here, it went to the user sheet and it found the same row that has this email, right? It found the row that has the same email. Therefore, it has detected this user, right? This is called the relation. So now what this means is that I'm able to go back to my page right here and add a new component, which is going to be the relation button, right? So I'm going to click on this. And as you can see, I'm able to have this little link right here, which gets data from the user relation that I just created. Now what I'm going to do next is select the title element, so this right here to be username, and then the details element to be the name, right? So that's how I want it to be displayed. And then what I'm going to do next in order to complete this page is add a comments component, right? So this is going to allow users to comment on a post. Then finally, I'm actually going to add a few separators, right? So these are just some lines that help you organize things a little bit better, right? And one thing that I forgot to add is the caption. So I'm going to add a text component, and this is going to be the caption, right? So I'm going to move this here below the like button. I'm going to add one more separator, just like that. Perfect. Now the good thing is that all this setup we've done here is actually going to be replicated across every single one of these posts, right? So I don't need to recreate everything. Same here. There you go. So now what I'm gonna do is actually focus on the user's profile. So when I click on this, this is gonna open up a brand new page where I'm gonna be able to display all the user information. So this is actually gonna be a very similar page to the one I have right here on the profile page. However, obviously we're not gonna have a new post button and so on. So here I'm gonna go ahead and for the title I'm gonna select the username, and for the components I'm gonna go ahead and add a title component, right? There we go. And then for the data, for the title I'm gonna select username. For the details I'm gonna select bio. And then for the image, we have the profile image. Now, if you notice here, I'm not selecting this data from the user section right here. I'm actually selecting it directly from here because this data is actually for the user that is currently signed in, right? And this is going to be wrong if I select this because let's say, as you can see, every post is going to have a different creator, right? So the creator of the post is not going to be the user that is signed in, right? It can be someone completely different. Therefore, it's not going to be correct if I select the data from here. So now the next thing I'm going to do is add an inline list, right? So this is going to display all the posts for this user. I'm going to select tiles style. And once again, I'm going to customize the tile to be a square and also display 2 tiles per row. I'm then going to get rid of this data, right? I don't want it right there. And I'm going to change the title to be users posts. Now the final challenge we have here is to actually filter these posts once again to display the data of the of this particular user, to display the posts of this particular user. So what I'm going to do on the inline list here, I'm going to go to features, add filter. And now what I need to do is select the user email, right? So once again, the email on this column right here for the post, this email needs to be the same as the email of the user of this screen, right? So as you can see, we now have this new screen option, which is part of the relation, right? So this email has to be the same as the email of the user of this page, right? And as you can see, it has been successfully filtered. So these concepts might be a little bit advanced, you know, especially if you're a beginner. But yeah, that's how you achieve this. So now all these posts, if I go, okay, so this one doesn't have a user, you know, that's why we're not able to view it. But yeah, for this one, we have a user, and that's the user profile. And this is going to be the same here. So if I select a post from the user's profile, I'm able to get the user's link right there, and that's the user profile. So now what I'm going to do is actually go ahead and test this. So I'm going to sign in as Mike. So let's go to the profile page. As you can see here, we have the create account button. So I'm going to go ahead and create a username for Mike. Name is going to be Mike A. This is Mike's bio. Date 06/03/192. Submit. I'm not gonna add a profile image, we don't need to do that. However, what I'm gonna do is create a new post, right? So as you can see now, Mike should be part of our users sheet right here. There we go. I don't know why that's there. Delete row. So Mike is right there. We have an account for Mike. So now I'm gonna go ahead and submit a new post. So Mike's first post. This is a random caption. Submit. So there we go. We now have one post. I'm gonna add an image link to this post. I'm gonna select this one right here. Paste. And now I'm gonna go back to my app and refresh. There we go. So as you can see, the post has been made and is displayed on Mike's profile. And now if I go to the posts page right here to the news feed, there we go. That's the new post. And now if I click on the post, we have the like button. I can go ahead and like this. This is a random caption. That's correct. And then we have a link to Mike's profile, right? So our app is now ready and fully functional. Now, if you want to take this app to the next level and learn how to add more advanced features, as well as learn how to monetize your app so you can start making money from it, I'm actually going to put a link in the description to my course, which is now available. In this course, I have a complete module on mastering no-code app development with both Glide as well as other powerful no-code platforms. I also have a module dedicated on adding monetization options to your app. So things are like displaying ads, unlocking features for premium users, promoting offers, selling products, and so on. There's also tons of stuff on marketing and building a brand around your app. So pretty much everything you need in order to start building money-making apps. Most importantly, with this course, you also get access to a private community that I set up where you can ask any question you may have and also network with people who are working on similar projects to you. So if you're serious and you want to take your no-code app development game to the next level, the link will be in the description. And with that being said, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. I really hope I was able to provide you with some value here. Subscribe to my channel if you want to stay tuned for when I release new videos like this one. And also don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'm going to see you on the next one.